Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Innalhamdulillahi nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruh wa na'udzubillahi min syururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. May yahdihillahu fala mudhillalah wa may yudlil fala hadiyalah. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la syarikalah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back to me in my channel Isan Syarif. In this video, I wanna tell you about technologies in the specific in the networking. The first I wanna tell you is understanding dynamic routing. In the world of computer networks, a computer or host can only communicate with other hosts located in the same network by default. They cannot communicate with other network computers. Then, what if there is packet that must be sent or addressed to a computer on another network? To deal with this problem, routing is used. Definition of routing. What is routing? Routing is the processor of determining the path to be traversed by the packet. The device that performs the routing is the router. Routers are known as intelligent network devices because they have CPU and memory as well as their ability to determine the path through packet and are able to connect several different computer networks. With router, a packet can go in and out of another network friendly according to the set rules. Routing is divided into two, namely static routing and dynamic routing. The first is static routing. Static routing is routing that is done manually. Each network to be routed must be configured individually by the network administrator. The advantage of static routing is that it is more secure and does not require large resources. While the drawback is that if there is change in a network, the administrator must rerouting so that it matches the new network. Static routing is known to be more secure because in static routing, no routing table information updates are sent to other routers. The routing table is a set of configured routing paths. The information contained in the routing table includes network destination or destination network, subnet mask or subnet mask of the destination network, and the gateway. The gateway can be a next hop or IP address on the next router that the packet will pass through. Or RAN node interface. The interface that the packet will pass through to get out to the outside network. Static routing is more suitable if used in small companies because the dash combines the network used is not so large and complex. Note: routing is done if the number of routers in the network topology is more than 1. If there is only one router, then there is no need for routing. Dynamic routing. Dynamic routing is a routing works using a routing protocol and has an algorithm in the determining the path. The advantage of dynamic routing is that if there is a change in network, the routing protocol will automatically rerouting so that it can adapt to the new network condition. While the drawback is dynamic routing requires large network resources such as CPU and memory, so that the network performance can deteriorate. Dynamic routing uses a protocol. There is periodic routing table updates. The function of updating this router table is so that each connected router can recognize the path used by the sending router. Later, the router in the network will work together to forward the packet to reach their destination. Because of updating the routing table, dynamic routing becomes less secure. This is because when the routing table recurrelates on the network, the information carried can be stolen or accepted by certain irresponsible parties. It is different with static routing, which does not update the routing table. Dynamic routing is suitable for medium to large scale network because in this network the data traffic is so large and complex. Dynamic routing is designed by using routing algorithm and protocol to handle the path in the company and will change the path automatically if there is a change. Okay, next second lesson. There is VPN. What is VPN and how does it work? What is a VPN? In the past, VPN virtual private network was a tool that was created with the aim of regularly connected network between office building and being able to use office network from home or other place. Meanwhile, at this time, VPNs have been widely used by internet users around the world. The goal, of course, to get a connection to the internet safely, privately, and to be able to access a network remotely. What is a VPN? VPN or virtual private network is a connection service that gives you access to website in a secure and private manner by changing the connection path through the server and hindering the data exchange that occurs. Simply put, a VPN connects smartphone, tablet, PCs to another computer, commonly called a VPN server, somewhere that is connected to the internet and allow you to browse the internet using a computer internet network. So, if their computers or server is in a different country, it will be the country you are using when the internet tries to hit you through that connection and you can access something you cannot access from your country. To be understanding what VPN, let's review how it works. How do VPNs work? After knowing what VPN is and if its function, then you should also know how VPN works. The way VPN is the encrypty the data exchange even before public connection at the coffee shop of our internet cafe reads it. Connecting to the internet using a VPN connection is like accessing the internet using a special tunnel, not using the main network. The VPN server is chained of forwarding your connection to the site you want to access, so the connection you make will be recognized as a connection from the VPN server network, not to the in used at that time. So when using network without a VPN, the connection is made directly without encryption. Meanwhile, if you use a VPN, connection is encrypted and is passed through the VPN server first. Way of VPN works to encrypt the data exchange even before the public connection at the coffee shop or internet cafe reaches it. Connection to the internet using a VPN connection is like accessing the internet using a special channel, not using the main network. The VPN server is trying to forward your connection to the site you want to access. So the connection you make will be recognized as a connection from the VPN server network, not the network in use at the time. So when using network without a VPN, the connection is made directly without encryption. Meanwhile, if you use a VPN, the connection is encrypted and is passed through the VPN server first. The following is an illustration of a connection through a network without a VPN and using a VPN. Write a basic VPN. What is VPN? How it works? The connection has indeed become the standard used when we use the internet. There is no encryption and all the data involved in the progress of exchanging data between you and applications on the internet can be seen by many people. It doesn't matter if the data being processed is just data regarding searches on Google, entertainment, or something like that. This will be a problem if the data being processed is only online banking, business email, or anything a little more sensitive. Of course, this would be different story. To carry out only attack, hackers usually use the man in the middle or MITM attack technically. This will be discussed another time. Then, how does a VPN work to secure data when exchanging data on the internet? Let's look at the image. Write a basic VPN. What is a VPN? How it works? When you use VPN, are usually using an application. Your data is encrypted by the application and only sent through the ESP then to the VPN server. Then VPN server becomes the third device to connect you with the only set sites or servers. It will be able to solve data privacy and security issues than changing data. What are the other benefits and uses of a VPN? What are the benefits of a VPN? There are several benefits that you can get when you use a VPN, such as remote access. Remote access allows you to access the internet using the office network from anywhere as long as we are connected to the internet. So, even if you use an outside network, when you use a VPN, your network can be recognized by the internet using an office network. Apart from that, the following are some of the benefits of VPN. The first is bypass. You can bypass georegistration on streaming or video sites. For example, by the government to access sites that are considered dangerous and so on. Secondly, data security on public networks. Another benefits of a VPN is that it protect your data exchange from Wi-Fi or other network that can then be trusted. This will be helpful when using public network in cafes or bars and the like. The thirdly, secure personal information anonymously. VPN hides your location in the real time live, so not just anyone can find out where you are when accessing. Usually the detected location is where your VPN server is located. Thirdly, data encrypted. When processing data exchange between you and the online web application, your data is encrypted, so even if someone searches what the computer sends, they only see encrypted information, not raw data. 5. Encrypted device information. Someone cannot easily identify the drive you are using or what you are doing. Vbn Pros and Cons. In addition to hiding real identities, VPN can also limit browsing history by ISPs and governments. However, there are some drawbacks to using a VPN. One of which is the sometimes slower connection. Following are the advantages and disadvantages of VPN. Access the heavily data confidential is more secure. Slower connection can access blocked website or unstable connection. The real IP identity is not identical now, and also manual configuration is quite complicated, and then access network from different location. There are usage limitations. Is it safe enough to use a VPN? Security using a VPN is still hindered by two main factors, namely, the first is technology limits. Limitation of the technology used to develop a VPN, such as the type of the protocol and encryption used. Secondly, legal limits. Legal and policy constraints affect what can be done with the technology. The same applies to the laws of the country where the servers and companies providing the VPN are located. Sometimes the company own policies affect the way company implement this technology in their service. And so you can say that using VPN is not completely safe. However, as less using VPN will be safer than using regular connection. So when use VPN, you can use VPN when you want to do the following activity, and that help you get a more lesser connection when using public Wi-Fi, and then encrypt your activity on website. Hide your activity from people who want to try to find out secretly. Hides your location and allows you to access geo-blocked connect, and then ensures you are more anonymous on the website. How to get a free VPN? What is a free VPN? Free VPN is service that provides VPN servers that you can use for free. Through the sites below, you can get free VPN access. There are several free VPN provide sites that you can try. The free VPN provide VPN application surface that can be used on the desktop service. Meanwhile, if you want to use VPN on mobile or desktop device, you can try applications such as Hotspot Shield or Tunnel Beer. The first, VPN free VPN. Hotspot Shield. Hotspot Shield is pretty popular VPN service provide. Also, it provides premium service. Hotspot Shield also offers a free version that you can try. The version can prevent sites that contain malware and lead you to connect to blocked sites. However, the free version can only connect to one device. Number 2, Channel Beer. Channel Beer is a pretty simple but powerful VPN app. Tunnel Beer has a attractive appearance that makes it easier for users to use it. Tunnel Beer is a friendly VPN app for your device. Tunnel Beer has an attractive and simple UI that makes it easy for user to use it. Number 3, Hide Me. Hide Me is an internet provider application in Malaysia and has dozens of servers in the world. The free version of these apps allow you to use up to 3 gigabit each month. Conclusion: a VPN can help you to secure your connection as well your identity and personal data. Also, there are shortcomings, but it comes an inseparable part in the application. Okay, next to the lesson 3 is understanding OSPF. Understanding OSPF. OSPF or Open Short Passwords is an IGBP or Interior Gateway Routing Protocol type routing protocol that can only work within the internal network of an organization or company. Internal network means a network where you still have the right to use, manage and modify it, or in other words, you still have administrative right to the network. If you no longer have the right to use and manage it, when the network can be congregating as an external network. In addition, OSPF is also an open understanding routing protocol. The point is that this routing protocol is not the creation of any vendor. Thus, anyone can use it. Any device can be compatible with it, and however, this routing protocol can be implemented. OSPF is routing protocol that uses the concept of routing hierarchically, meaning that OSPF divides the network into several levels. Their tasks are realized using an R grouping system. By using the concept of a routing hierarchy, the information dissemination system becomes more organized and segmented, not spreading here and there haphazardly. The effect of the regularity of the routing distribution is that the network uses bandwidth more effectively, achieves convergence faster, and is more precise in the determining that best routers to a location. OSPF is a routing protocol that always tries to work that way. The technology used by this routing protocol is link state technology, which designed to work very effectively in the network of sending routing information updates. This makes the OSPF routing protocol very suitable for continuous development into large-scale network. OSPF users are usually medium to large network administrators. Network is more than 10 routers, with many remote locations that need to be reached from the center. With more than the 500 network users may be available to use the routing protocol. How SPF work? In carrying out the exchange of routing information, SPF will establish and communication with other routers. Other routers that are directly related or that are in the same network with the OSPF router are called neighbor routers or neighbor routers. OSPF routers have a mechanism to find neighbor routers and open connection. This mechanism is known as the Hello protocol. In the establishing connection with its neighbor, the OSPF router will procedurally send a small packet into the network to the device that is directly connected to it. The small packet is called to hello packet. Under standard condition, hello packet are sent procedurally every 10 seconds in multi-access broadcast media and every 30 seconds in point-to-point media. Hello packet contain information about connect on the sending router. Hello packet are regularly sent using a multicast address to go to all routers running OSPF. IP multicast in OSPF is 224.000.0.5. All routers running OSPF will listen to this hello protocol and will send hello packet periodically. The working of the hello protocol and the establishment of neighbor routers consists of several tips. Depending on the types of media on which the OSPF router is running. However, the unique way why the hello protocol works on OSPF is directly to each type of media. There are several types of media that can pass OSPF information. Each has its own characteristic, so SPF also works according to their characteristic. The media are as follow. The first, broadcast multi-access. This type of media is media that is widely available in local network or LANs such as Ether or FDDI and token right. In the media condition, OSPF will send multicast traffic in the search of the neighbor routers. However, there is something unique in the process of this media, namely that two routers will be selected that function as designated router or DR, and backup designated router is BDR. Point-to-point. Point-to-point technologies is used in conditions where there is only one other routers that is directly connected to a router device. An example of this technology is serial link. In this point-to-point condition, the OSPF router does not need to create a designated router and its backup because there is only one router that need to be used as a neighbor. In this neighbor search process, the router OSPF will also send hello packet and other messages using a multi-cache address named all OSPF routers the number 2240.0.0.5. Point-to-point technologies is used in conditions where there is only one other router that is directly connected to router device. An example of this technology is a serial link. In this point-to-point condition, the OSPF router does not need to create a designated router and its backup because there is only one router that needs to be used as a neighbor. In this neighbor research process, the OSPF router will also send hello packet and other messages using a multicast and address named all OSPF routers the number 2240.0.0.5. Point-to-point multi-point. This type of media is media that has one interface that connects it so the internet. Multiple goals the network below are considered a series of point-to-point network that are directly connected to the main device. OSPF router protocol messages will be replicated through both the point-to-point network. On this type of network, OSPF traffic is also sent using multicast IP address. But what distinguishes it from multi-access broadcast media is that there is no designated and backup designated router selection because it does not forward broadcast. Non-broadcast multi-access or NBMA. This non-broadcast multi-access media is basically an ordinary serial line that is often found on point-to-multipoint, but in fact the medium can provide connection to many destinations, not just to one point. An example of this medium is X.25 and Frame relay, which are very well known in providing solutions for offices that are disparate. In the use of this media, there are also two types of use, namely particle mesh and fully mesh network. OSPF says this type of media as a multi-access broadcast medium, but in reality, this media cannot forward broadcast to the point it. Therefore, for the implementation OSPF in this media, manual configuration or DR and BDR is required. Once DR and BDR are selected, the DR router will generate an LSA for the entire network. In this type of media, the DR and BDR are routers that have direct connection to all neighboring router. Traffic sent from neighboring router will be replicated by DR and BDR for each router and sent using an unicast address or like the OSPF process on point-to-point media, point-to-point media. Border gateway the next listen again. The lesson again is border gateway protocol or BGP. Border gateway protocol is a type of routing protocol used for connection between autonomous system or AS, and a type of routing protocol that is widely used in large ESPs or telecom cell or banks. BGP included the category of exterior gateway protocol or EGP routing protocol, which the EGP routing can extend router to and from the local autonomous system or AS. Network BGP has high scalability because it can serve routing exchange in several line organizations. Therefore, BGP is now as a very complicated and complex routing protocol. Characteristic: using distance vector routing algorithms. Distance vector routing algorithms periodically copy the routing table from router to router. Changes in the routing table are updated between interconnected routers when there is a topology change, used between ESP with ESP and client, used to router internet traffic between autonomous systems. BGP is a path vendor routing protocol in the process of determining the best router. It's always referred to the best and selected path obtained from other BGP router. BGP router establish and maintain peer-to-peer connection using port number 179. The inter-peer connections are maintained using a keep alive signet periodically. The metric attributes to determine the best router are complex and can be modified flexibly. BGP has its own routing table which usually contains routing prefixes it receives from other BGP routers. Why BGP? BGP has the ability to control and manage traffic from differently sources in a multi-home network connected to the more than one ASP internet service provider. The main purpose of BGP is to introduce to the public outside the network or upstream provider or peer about the routers or portion of the address space owned by requesting permission to carry data to a destination address space or advertising. One of the drawbacks that BGP routing may face is that it publishes router that is not know how to reach. This is called black holing, which means doing an advertisement or asking for permission to graze data. But some parts of the address space belong to someone else. As a result, the advertise process is even more difficult. Internet without BGP must create a default router to the upstream provider, and all non-local packets are delivered through the interface specified by the router. Provider will apply static routes to our network and redistribute those routers via their EGP from EGP. Then it can also be redistributed to BGP. With BGP, providers will give you all the routers they have and try to listen to every announcement of routers that we have and then redistribute it to peer, pairs, or destination customer. BGP network relationship. Data, but some parts of the address space belong to someone else. As a result, the advertise process is even more difficult. Ethernet without BGP must create a default router to the upstream provide, and all non-local packets are delivered to the interface specified by the router. Provides will apply static router to our network and redistribute this network to every unknown command of routers that we have, and then redistribute it to peer or destination customers. BGP neighbor relationship. Internet architecture is actually composite of interconnect AS to AS. Routers that communicate directly via BGP are now BGP speakers. Multiple BGP speakers can be placed on the same as of delivery to the BGP. With BGP provide will give us all the routers they have and try to listen to every command of router that we have, and then redistribute it to peer or destination customer. BGP neighbor relationship. Internet architecture is actually composite of interconnected AS to AS routers that communicate directly via BGP are known as BGP speakers. Multiple BGP speakers can be placed on the same AS or the different AS. In each of these AS, BGP speakers communicate with each other to exchange network reliability information based on the policy sets built the AS version. BGP version 1 message size 8 then 1024 bits. There is an 8-bit direction field that indicates the direction taken by the routing information. 5 possible direction field: up, down, horizontal, EGP delivered information incomplete. BGP version 2 message size 19 and then 4096 bytes. Eliminates the concept of up, down, and horizontal between the US to US. Added path attribute concept. BGP version 3 message size 19 then 4096 bits. Clarify the procedure for distributing BGP router among speakers in AS. Increase the restriction on the use the next hop patch attribute. BGP version 4 message size 19 then 4096 bits. The AS patch attribute has been modified so that AS sets can be declarable AS individual AS. The inter AS metric path attribute has been redefined as the multi-exit discriminator patch attribute. Local preference patch attribute added patch attribute aggregator. Supports for CIDR or classless interdomain routing. Ways of working. The AS patch attribute has been modified so that AS sets can be attributed as individual ASS. The Internet AS metric patch attribute has been redefined as the multi-exit discriminator patch attribute, local preference patch attribute, added patch attribute, aggregation support for CIDR classes, inter-domain routing. Ways of working. When a new BGP router is built, the BGP peers automatically exchange their existing routing tables, after which the peers send notification regarding change to the routing table. The update message provides the BGP peers information only one patch. If the change that occur affect many patches, then multi-update message need to be sent. After BGP collect its routing update from various AS, the protocol will make a decision to take a specific patch to its destination router. Usually, only one patch is needed to reach a destination. BGP uses a patch attribute that is related to him via an update message in order to determine the best patch for each destination. There are forms or transport protocol connection systems that are important to understand the exchange message. To open and confirm the connection parameters, the initial data flows generated is nothing but the entire BGP routing table, which is then sent additional update as change to the routing table. BGP in this case does not require periodic refresh of the entire routing table. Therefore, the BGP speaker must maintain an up-to-date version of the entire BGP routing table of all its peers for the duration of a given connection. Cumulative messages are sent periodically to ensure a smooth connection. Notification messages are sent to respond to error or special conditions that occur if a connection encounters an error. A notification message is sent immediately and the connection is closed. Hardware and software for BGP communication. The equipment needed is a commercial router such as a Cisco router, and by router or PC clones running Linux, BSD, or other Unix variants, assisted by a program called Gated to manage BGP. eBGP versus eBGP. BGP supports two types of routing information exchange between different AS, internal BGP or eBGP, exchanging within a single AS, internal BGP or eBGP. A BGP system shares network reachability information with other adjacent BGP systems, known as neighbor or peers. The BGP system is composed of groups. In the internal BGP groups, all peer group members, internal peers, are in the same as. Internal groups use router from eBGP to decide on forwarding or addresses. They also propagate internal routers. Among other internal routers running internal BGP computes next hops by catching BGP hops retrieved with the router and then resolve them using information obtained from one of the IGBPs. eBGP and eBGP share the same basic level protocol for exchanging router and also sharing algorithms. However, eBGP is used to exchange router between different AS, while eBGP is used to exchange router between the same AS. In fact, eBGP is one of the inferior routing protocols that can be used to perform active routing in a network. The main difference between eBGP and eBGP doesn't tire of trying to advertise every now BGP router to everyone, so all filter may have to be used to stop it. Whereas eBGP is basically quite difficult to work because eBGP does not redistribute route. eBGP speakers in a networker environment must pair with all other eBGP speakers to make them work. Match routing. AS number, AS in or AS in. AS in is a uniquely number that identifies AS. This number is governed by RIN autonomous number from the American Registry to Internet Numbers condition that must be met to gain an AS number. Unique routing policy. Multi-homicide. AS path. Each time a route is propagated via BGP is assigned a stamp with an AS number from the router that hosted it. This router moves from one AS to another to form a patch or patch. AS patch. Use of patch provides diagnostic traces of routing in a network. Is a metric number that specifies how routers heard via BGP are entered into the eBGP routing table. Allows to perform a routing policy. For example, when we want to take a short-chain route. BGP message. BGP message open to establish a BGP connection between two BGP systems. Update to exchange network reliability information. Keep alive to determine whether or not a link or host file no longer exists. Notification. Send when an error condition detect. Causes BGP sanction and TCP connections between BGP system to close. Definition of MikroTik. The next to listen. The lesson is definition. What is MikroTik? Definition of MikroTik. MikroTik is an operating system in the form of software that is used to turn a computer into a network router. This operating system is very suitable for computer network administration purpose. For example, to build small and large-scale computer network system. The difference between MikroTik and the old operating system is the advantages of its wireless features. So do not be surprised. MikroTik is called one of the latest and simplest operating system. Thus many internet cafes use MikroTik. However, many people are still confused about the difference between a proxy and router. Router is hardware that serves to bridge between two networks. Meanwhile, MikroTik is an operating system that is included in the open source system, but it's not free software. MikroTik is widely used by ESP, hotspot providers, or public internet cafes or online special games. The facilities offered by MikroTik include bandwidth management on stateful firewall and hotspot for plug-and-play access or remote Winbox, GUI admin, and routing. MikroTik function. After understanding the meaning of MikroTik, you must be curious what are the functions of MikroTik, so that many become the prima donna of internet cafe owners. The first function of MikroTik is to block prohibited sites containing prohibited content using a proxy on MikroTik, so that it supports government programs in the form of internet use. Number 2, MikroTik function for setting and configuring LAN using a MikroTik router OS PC along with very low hardware. Other function, number 3, the function of the proxy is the internet network setting that can be done automatically, making it easier for the admin to manage it. MikroTik function for setting and the next function of proxy is the internet network setting that can be done automatically, making it easier for the admin to manage it. Can be used as a billing hotspot that makes it easy to configure and share bandwidth on the network. The 50 proxy function, which can be used for the manufacture of PPPoE server. The 60 function of MikroTik is to separate international and local traffic bandwidth. Type of MikroTik. MikroTik is available not only is one type. MikroTik company develops two types of products, namely MikroTik router OS and router board. Here's the explanation. Number first, MikroTik router OS. MikroTik router OS is a Unix-based operating system that is able to make ordinary computers capable of providing features such as router, firewall, bridge, hotspot, proxy, server, and others. Because it's so easy to use, many people use this operating system to build their routers. Number 2, router board. If MikroTik router OS is a software operating system, router board is actually a network hardware developed by the MikroTik company. Router board installs the MikroTik router OS operating system, also in the form of hardware. Router board is very small and practical. Router board consists of processor RAM, ROM, and flash memory. The price in the market is also not expensive. That's price of the router board 750 router board range from 60,000 to 700,000 rupiah only. How to connect the MikroTik the internet to the internet? To connect MikroTik the internet, you have to configure several things such as IP address, default router NAT masquerade, DNS server, bridging and the HTTP server once configured. Here's how to connect the proxy to the internet. Thank you for watching my video one horse this one horse. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.